November 21st at 7 p.m. We will call the meeting of the Bristol Town Council to order. First item on the agenda is a pledge of allegiance. So let's see. George, you want to lead us tonight?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And roll call. Start to my left. Doug Smith.
Here.
Dean Renfro.
Here.
Kathy Burke.
Here.
Greg Tuholski.
Here.
And Jeff Beachy's here. Off to my left again, Town Marshal Steve Frame.
Here.
Legal Counsel George Lapagnotis.
Here.
Clerk Treasurer Kathy Antonelli.
Here.
Town Manager Mike Yoder.
Here.
And Fire Chief Nick Kentz. Good evening, Nick. Okay. Everybody had a chance to review the agenda.
Yes.
Anybody need to make any additions, corrections, or changes?
Nope.
Okay. Not the agenda will stand as published. Approval of the invoices. Everybody had a chance to review the invoices?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Any questions?
Nope.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the invoices?
Make a motion to approve the last one's invoices.
Okay, motion by Greg,
Second.
second by Doug. Open for discussion. No further discussion. Take a vote. Doug Smith,
Yes.
Dean Renfro,
Yes.
Kathy Burke,
Yes.
Greg Tuholski,
Yes.
and Jeff Beach is yes. Motion carries. Next item is the approval of the minutes. And we have meeting minutes from our regular council meeting on 11/7 and the work session from Tuesday of this week. Everybody had a chance to review those?
Yes.
I make a motion, we approve 11/7/2024 minutes as well as the work session of 11/19/24.
Okay. Motion by Kathy, a second by Greg. Open for discussion. No further discussion. We'll take a vote. Doug Smith,
Yes.
Dean Renfro,
Yes.
Kathy Burke,
Yes.
Greg Tuholski,
Yes.
and Jeff Beach is yes. Motion carries. Okay. Nothing under planning and development, so we'll jump right into town manager reports.
Okay, several project payments that we're looking at. The packet contains all of the details. You might want to go just back to the main agenda because it's summarized there.
Okay,
So the first two actions is we have two change orders, change order 1 and change order 2. The amounts are listed that we need your approval on. And honestly, I don't remember what these were. They happened a couple weeks ago.
That's what I was gonna ask you.
It's probably within that data. We had to,
The water services on the sewer, deleting curb stop due to lack of room, replacing and relocating meter pits to the south side of the road.
oh, that's right.
Other adjustments to piping and restoration due to meter pit changes.
The original bid was put the meter pit on the north side and we made that change to the south side for a variety of really good reasons. That increased the cost.
so that's this one right here.
The both the 56 and the
43.
43,000.
Okay. And so is there a motion to approve the change order 1 and change order 2? Change order 1 is the amount of $56,699. Change order 2 is in the amount of $43,865.50.
We did two separate.
Mhm.
Sure.
I'll make a motion, we approve change order number 1 for $56,699.
Okay. Motion by Kathy,
I'll second.
second by Doug. Open for discussion. No further discussion. We'll take a vote. Doug Smith,
Yes.
Dean Renfro,
Yes.
Kathy Burke,
Yes.
Greg Dolsky,
Yes.
and Jeff Beach is a yes. Motion carries. Next is the water project change order number 2. In the amount of $43,865.50. There a motion to approve this change?
I'll make a motion to approve change order number 2 for $43,865.50.
Motion by Doug,
Second.
second by Dean. Open for discussion.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what that was for.
That was that list of
It says,
project, yeah.
that says something about Stone Road and fence repairs that were included in the contract? Additional clearing beyond the contract work. Where did we
Oh, this
clear
is
additional?
for access to where the new water tower would go, coordinated with the landowner. We created.
So it's
a new
that way.
entrance off of Kesto.
Okay,
New
so this
paved entrance,
doesn't have anything to do with
Not on this,
the water project down here. It actually is the water tower project.
well, the water project includes the water tower.
Okay, I just want to make sure I knew what it was about.
Okay, any further discussion? Not, we'll take a vote. Doug Smith,
Yes.
Dean Renfro,
Yes.
Kathy Burke,
Yes,
Greg Dolsky,
Yes.
and Jeff Beach is a yes. Motion carries.
Jeff, can I have your signature on the 2 green tabs?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Okay, the pay app number 2 for the water main project incorporates the 2 change orders that you just approved. And all of these changes, by the way, are reviewed by GDPR and Jennifer holds and signs off. So this pay app is for $322,000. And it's $802. $322,802.
There a motion to approve pay application number 2?
Make a motion, we approve pay application number 2 for the water main project.
Okay, so there's a motion by Dean. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Greg. Open for discussion. No further discussion. Take a vote. Doug Smith,
Yes.
Dean Renfro,
Yes.
I
Kathy
have a
Burke.
question.
Yes,
Ask for a question?
yes.
Oh, sorry, I missed it. I was looking at this. On this thing, it says the net and the change orders, and it's added into the contract price. But I don't see that we just approved it, but I don't see where they've taken it off of the $322,402.50.
It's not taken off, it's added.
It's added 2.
I know, but we just approved paying them.
No, you.
So
approved the
why would-
Change order,
We approve the change order.
and that feeds into the pay app. You approved the order. And so that change order, 100,000 at the top is the net change orders.
And that's in this three.
That, which is, no, yeah, but what, it shows the deductions
It's an
here.
addition column, not a deduction column.
It says deductions right
No,
there.
it says addition right there.
To the left, yeah.
I'm looking to the
Additions?
right.
Deductions.
Okay. I guess I'm confused because why would we be adding it in when we just approved them?
You have to.
You see what I'm
approve it.
saying?
I do, but those 2 change orders are part of the pay application itself.
You approve the change order, which means you increase the price of your project.
Okay,
Cost of your project.
so we weren't, when we
Okay,
approved the change order, that was not to pay it.
correct.
It was just approving
Yes.
the change in the order.
You committed to paying it.
Got it.
in the future, and the future happens really quick.
Okay. Well, I just want to make sure because it doesn't look right on here if you
Yeah.
take it as.
Well,
a-
it is confusing because they say the net change order.
Yeah.
It's plus 100,000. I guess if it was a net negative, it'd be minus.
Yeah, see, that's what confused me. Okay. Yes,
Okay, Greg Dolsky
Yes.
and Jeff Beach is a yes. Motion carries.
well,
We got there.
Another signature.
I
We
do
did.
accounting. What can I
Okay,
say?
now we are on the
Yeah, you're
wastewater
Jeff.
project, so. If you recall the project, the process is, first of all, we approve distributions from the SRF fund, and then we also approve pay applications. So you have three actions here. First is the SRF disbursement number 13, which is $38,542. And I guess we probably should do these individually.
Please. In case there's a problem with one of them, it's not addressing all of them.
So as expenses occur, the engineers turn this into us and let's pull money out of the loan. Then these get caught up into a pay application.
So this is requesting approval for the SRF disbursement.
Number 13.
Okay.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, motion by Kathy. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Doug. Open for discussion. No further discussion. We'll take a vote. Doug Smith,
Yes.
Dean Renfro,
Yes.
Kathy Burke,
Yes,
Greg Dolsky,
Yes.
and Jeff Beach, yes. Next one is SRF disbursement for disbursement number 15.
it happened to 14.
It's already been processed. 13, we already sent through, but they forgot to send it to council for their
Oh,
approval, so we're
Thank you.
covering our bases on that one.
I'm being picky tonight. I'm sorry. 14 is, okay,
Is there a motion to approve number 15?
I'll make a motion to approve 15 for $51,101.
Okay, motion by Kathy. Is
Sorry, Doug.
there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Greg. Open for discussion. No further discussion. Take a vote. Doug Smith,
Yes.
Dean Renfro,
Yes.
Kathy Burke,
Yes,
Greg Dolsky,
Yes.
and Jeff Beach is yes.
Okay, so the next disbursement, number 16, is for $686,000 and change. So this is for a pay application number 4. So we're approving, I guess we need to approve the disbursement number 16 first. And the pay application will be $686,000 to the contractor. But out of that, we also really
That approval can be all in one because it's the same disbursement.
retain. Okay.
Yep.
So it's typically when you guys approve pay applications, we've already pulled the retainage out, but with SRF, we're setting aside a separate account. So we borrow from SRF, put it in the retainage. Borrow from SRF and pay the contract. So at the end of the project, we'll pay that retainage if we're happy with the work. Well, when they can pay the project.
So is this disbursement 686 or is it 686 plus 36,000? Because the disbursement showing the same number to the contractor and a separate 36
Right,
to
pull
the.
that D up, and let's look at that. I might have missed, because I was seeing the same, there, right there. So the total disbursement should be the total of those two numbers, 686 and 36,000. And then it's split out.
so pay application is not the correct amount?
It should be $36,108.
686, 88 plus 36, 110.
No, it's taken out of the other,
Retainage amount is 36,110. And the payment to the contractor is 686,088. So
That's the full amount that they're withholding that for now, out of that portion.
oh, yes, total amount of, yes, Kathy's correct. I'm sorry.
So it's still just a 686, but 88
686 and 36,000 comes out of that amount.
per retainage. Okay,
Comes out of the
Well, if both engineering firms that follow the same formula. But
okay. So is there a motion to approve SRF disbursement number 16 in the amount of $686,088.12?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, motion by Greg,
Second.
second by Dean. Open for discussion. No further discussion. Take a vote. Doug Smith,
Yes.
Dean Renfro,
Yes.
Kathy Burke,
yes,
Greg Dolsky,
Yes.
and Jeff Beach is yes. Motion carries.
Jeff, can I have your signature just on the one page here?
Yes.
Motion for pay application before.
Now, is that the one with the 35,
That's the,
6,000
come
comes
out of
off of
that.
that?
yes,
Yeah.
So the contractor won't get to 686.
no,
Okay.
Okay, wait.
I looked at the wrong two lines. I looked at one correctly.
Okay, so then the last item on this one would be their motion for pay application number 4
Yeah,
to pay the contractor.
To pay the contractor $649,978.22.
Right? Because they're gonna take the 36,000 off of that.
That's what I said.
He
That's
just-
how much
he
we're
just did.
paying the contractor.
yeah, she just gave you the net amount for the contract.
So what is it? 649?
649,978.22,
Yeah,
if my addition is correct,
Okay,
for the contractor and
Uh,
36.
in a sense, the pay application for the full amount, but in the pay application, it's divided out. So the contract routine.
so you want, well, how do you want it stated? The full amount?
Uh, However you want to do it, the paperwork that you sign will be the total amount of 686,000, and then it breaks it out between the two. So when you sign it, you're approving a pay application for total 686,000.
Okay, so
Replace the and with-
I-
with- Jeff,
what's that?
Just replace the and with a with in your item number, payout number 4, 686,088 to the contractor with 36,109.90 the project routine.
Yeah, so I'll make a motion that we approve pay application number 4 in the amount of $686,088.12 to the contractor, with $36,109.90 of that money being retained for project
The only amount that's
retainage account.
contractor is the 649,000.
Correct. But the way I just stated it, does the same thing.
Okay,
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Jeff, second by Craig. Open for discussion. No further discussion. Take a vote. Doug Smith,
Yes.
Dean Renfro,
Yes.
Kathy Burke,
no,
Greg
I
Dolsky,
don't agree with your numbers. I'm
and
sorry.
Jeff Eaches, yes. So the way I stated it,
Yeah, I did hear how you stated it, but you said
Is-
to the contractor, so that's what confused me. 686.
$686,000. $686,000, $686,088.12 to the contractor, with $36,109.90 to the project retainage account.
I think if we look at the pay app is probably for 686,088. And then the retainage is a little further down.
That's right. I can,
So the payout.
I can vote no. You guys got it anyway.
You're just being difficult there, aren't you?
No, I just don't, it doesn't make sense to me.
No,
Money
Kathy.
does go to the contract,
I understand.
but not until the end of the project. So,
There you go. That's what, okay,
Which is the retainage account.
okay,
right.
That's where that $36,000 goes.
I
okay.
mean, it's.
I agree.
Big numbers, it's big projects, so taking some time to go through it. Okay.
It's just a verbiage I don't understand.
Okay,
Okay, several projects to update you on tonight, and I didn't warn Jill of this, but I thought you sat, you sat through the water project update meeting today. Could you give us just a brief update on where we're at with the water project and how soon will the site go?
So everything's going along really smooth, the laterals, yesterday the town hall was connected with their new water line. We have a few more to go. They're taking basically up to the meter, we're not gonna do any of the galvanized. Right now, we've up to 10 years to change those out. So with that being said, we're just up to the meter, there's a few more, John Starr's property off Charles Street. Some work they to figure out where that line's gonna go in because it's on a slab. So they're gonna do some investigation to see how that's gonna look. Talking to Brian Swallow, we hope in the next few weeks, maybe about early, mid-December, the sidewalks should be done. It looks like right in front of the businesses, they started sidewalks today, actually. So moving along smoothly, so everything looks good.
That's the new sidewalk that won't change once the NDOT project.
That's the plan.
It might change. That's the thing, we don't know quite yet what that's gonna look like, but what we're doing, in the meantime, since it's gonna be a while since NDOT, is we're gonna replace sidewalks as they were.
Okay.
Yeah, we have more news on the NDOT project.
That's why
I'm saving that till the end.
That's why it's not like-
Thank you very much.
Haven't, any updates on the wastewater plant? I mean, we're at that meeting as well.
Wastewater, I have notes right here, just in case, actually. Things are going along with Crosby really well, some great news, I think Mike actually shared this. But that rain for the compaction, that was an $8,000 savings to the town, so that was really good.
Nice.
All right. The project itself, we are 19% away.
Nice.
We have a while to go, but everything's looking really good. There's not a whole lot to give on that one. The SPR, there's a small delay, but nothing to worry about with Crosby. So they were pretty impressed with that compaction and not having to spend that kind of money. So that was great news. You want an update on the BZA, but they talked about that today too. So there was no issues with the permitting process of them continuing with the building. So
I didn't take the day off. She went to the meetings, but I went to the BCA hearing to make sure that we could continue to build what we already started. And I had an EDC meeting this afternoon. The water tower, they're starting the deep foundation, January.
they have to start that in January, so when they get out there, they're gonna be on that up to March, and then the other department then will start to come in after January. Or they start to construct it, and that will be up to August, another 7 days a week, they say, for that project.
Oh.
So things are moving along really on both projects really smoothly so far, but now we're just starting to get into the fun side of it. With the construction.
I got a question on the water mains. Because in the meeting the other day, they said they moved all the water meters to the south side of the road. That's my understanding that the homeowner and business is required to maintain the pipe from the meter to their building.
Yes,
So now is that,
not going to be the case on.
I was gonna
We
say,
have
so we're gonna have to
Curb
do something.
stop on the north side, so from the curb stop into the building.
Okay. When we talked about that in the meeting the other day with NDOT, I'm like, whoa. Them people just got about 100 feet more pipe they gotta be responsible for. Okay,
So,
it just was, I thought about it after I left, and I wanted to bring it up and find out. Okay.
anything else on those two projects?
Nothing that's standing out to me right now, no.
I would ask you then, but thank you.
Oh.
Don't mind him.
I should look up what you're talking about.
Next, I list the ORD ordinance. I believe we have that ready to go, and so unless the attorneys make a minor change on one item I've asked about, that will be before you December, first meeting in December for first reading.
Okay.
And we'll get that wrapped up by the end of the year. Okay, NDOT. We had our first construction meeting yesterday. And we learned that NIPSCO plans to use next summer, as their season of moving the gas lines to the electric lines. That means our street construction project will not start until 2026. Yeah.
March the 6th, I think it was, wasn't it?
Right. Now,
What part of the street? I mean, what you're talking about going west?
none of the construction work on the road will start next year. It'll be in 2026.
Thank you.
But this is going to be a mess next year anyways, because they'll be working in both intersections. So we still will be utilizing all the detours. There will be some pretty significant closures at both ends of town during different parts of the project.
Do you know
What
what
are they?
months?
They're replacing gas lines that are under the road.
Oh, NIPSCO, okay.
NIPSCO is-
Do you know what months that would be?
Yeah, between Mark, I know what you're thinking. We have no idea. They said they're planning on starting on March 6th. So I don't know what to say about parades, other than, well,
We've discussed it. I mean, we've discussed it when this is.
yeah,
gonna
well,
happen
and
anyway,
then,
So couldn't be
so,
any worse than it was last year when you guys redid Indiana during where we always lined up for the parade. I have messed with that.
so I wasn't really happy with that. Nobody, I think, even NDOT wasn't happy with that. NDOT has promised to stay on NIPSCO to make sure. Said what NIPSCO will do is they'll come in and do 4 10-hour days. And then you've got intersections closed and nobody's working on Friday. NIPSCO or NDOT would like to see 5 days, 5 10s, and get the project done and get out.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So
he
we'll
was
see.
very adamant that if you got road closed signs up, have people there working.
Right. Because we know what happened at Division Street.
Yeah.
You know, so that's not what we want to have happen on the main thoroughfare, neither does NDOT. So this morning I woke up with an idea and I ran this by NDOT and I expected an immediate rejection. Instead, I got, that's not a bad idea. So suppose that we would work with, Reese Riley has the bid. So suppose we work with Reese Riley and we would do the project from the storefront to the curb. So we replace the curb next summer. So we're doing all of our storefronts and sidewalks on both sides of the road next summer. And then in 2026, all Reese Riley does is the road. So we've done all of our intricate work with street light, lamp posts, posts and all of that next summer yet. So we're still doing construction down here. It's gonna be tore up because of NIPSCO. So the immediate response from MnDOT's engineer was, well, that's a possibility. So we're going to take a closer look at that. The only complication I can think of is the storm sewers and how that might complicate that.
So if they have to add to those or something,
Niblock's doing it though.
No, Reese Riley.
Yeah, but I mean, I know they are, but I mean, aren't we having Niblock do sidewalk part? Or we're gonna have every,
Reese Riley, because they've got the rest of the project.
I thought we had already,
No.
That
Niblock
was just on the water main project that we're doing
that
right
was
now.
just the water, okay,
Right.
all right. That's
So,
where I got a little confused, cause
Reese Riley was ready to go this spring, but until they found out that the utilities had not been moved yet.
Was
Or
I-
that they hadn't scheduled.
was I under the understanding when the engineer here, did he say 30-month project? Thought that's what he said.
So
30-month
we
project.
could be done in 2027. The last phase
Maybe.
would be the west side of town, from the stoplight west. Hopefully they'll get from stoplight south done in 26. But if we can do a lot of this other work in 25, then that may, the rest of it might go faster in 26.
how far down are they gonna go west? How far,
Oh, man.
Well,
Treatment plant, the last print I
I
seen,
think it's pretty close to
Just-
treatment.
or is it the city limits,
you know, about the treatment plant.
No, it's not that far. It'd be treatment. Yeah.
treatment plant?
Right. So we just extended our project longer than we planned initially. Anyways, we'll see. I would really like to see those sidewalk things happen next year, and then we've got that cleaned up.
Yeah.
Now, is the state gonna pay for part of that sidewalk?
Not ours.
No.
Oh, I thought we only had to pay the 4 foot from the building out and the rest was state.
That's correct.
I was gonna say, I thought they paid for some part of the
Yeah,
sidewalk.
we were part,
They pay for the
That's-
curb too.
and they pay for the curb.
Okay, I was gonna say, I thought we only had to pay for the 4 foot from the building facade out and that was it.
But we have to pay for the lamp or the street light.
All the
Foundations,
constant
we have
pillars
to
and the
pay for
conduit
that.
and all that.
So anyways,
Okay.
it's just gonna be a year of transitions or two or three.
Or three,
Just an observation. I doubt anybody from NDOT's watching, but or listening, but NDOT should take some lessons from MDOT. Schoolcraft, Michigan just repaved 131 about a mile south of town, a mile south of the tracks, all the way to the north side of, of Schoolcraft. And that's probably a 4 mile stretch,
Five.
a 4 to maybe 5 mile stretch. They did that all in one summer. They did it all in one construction season. They started early this spring and they went curb to curb.
But did they do full depth and?
Yeah,
storm sewers
They did,
and everything?
absolutely did.
Oh.
Yep.
And they kept
I
one
knew they
side
had it
open.
tore up pretty bad. but I
Yeah,
couldn't
they,
tell all
they were putting all new, because Greg, you probably drove through there when you went to Grand Rapids.
Yeah, and I mean, the whole time they kept one side open too.
Yeah.
Like northbound or southbound, either one was
Yeah.
open.
And they went all the way down. They were putting in all new concrete, drainage and tile and,
I know when I went through there, it was a mess all
Yeah.
around it.
but they got that done in one season.
Well, that's no different than the detour signs that they put up
Yeah,
a
So,
couple
anyways.
months ago saying to go down 15 South when that's the only place you could go anyway.
yeah. So, just,
Okay, so that's the update on NDOT.
NDOT.
I'll keep you apprised of what kind of progress we make on this other idea. Finally, I might have mentioned it Tuesday, maybe not. The Handspot Liquor Store is opening. It's December 3rd or 4th, that first week. The same day or the next day, the new fuel station up north, they're planning on opening as well.
oh, nice.
Great.
Yeah. So grand opening the same week.
You can get gassed up and liquored up all the same weekend.
Yeah.
Gotta drive a little.
Steve will be busy.
Gassed is gassed, right? I mean,
All right, that's all I have.
All right. Anybody have anything for Mike? All right. Thank you, Mike. Let's see. Kathy, what do you have for us tonight?
Well, I was going to bring to you an additional appropriation in regard to the community garden water bill.
Mm-hmm.
Jill reminded me that we had a rate increase in, and this bill is based on that rate increase, so I'm working with the software vendor to recalculate that, which should result in a lower bill. And you should be able to afford that, but they weren't able to have that done for today.
Okay.
So I'll keep you posted on that.
Okay.
And that is the only item I have for you.
All right. Anybody have anything for Kathy? Okay. If not, Steve, what do you have for us tonight?
Mike, do you want me to talk about the MOU for the dog?
Yes.
Yeah, let's do, because you can sign it, Jeff can sign it, it's here. And it's there.
Okay. We got the memorandum of understanding between Middlebury Schools and us as far as them gifting us the dog or giving us the possession of the canine that comes with Gary Smith. That starts December 3rd, so we got that worked out. Middlebury Schools was gracious enough to not charge us for the dog, which worked out well.
Nice.
I think it works good from both sides, so, that's the document that we need to sign for that.
Okay. We need a motion for that.
I make a motion, we accept the drug dog agreement between Middlebury School Corporation and the town of Bristol Police Department.
Okay, motion by Kathy,
I'll second.
second by Doug, open for discussion. No further discussion, take a vote. Doug Smith,
Yes.
Dean Renfro,
Yes.
Kathy Burke,
Yes.
Greg Dolsky,
Yes.
and Jeff Peach says yes. Motion carries.
Then our statistics for October, real quickly, our criminal enforcement, we investigated 57 cases, 9 of those cases were closed by immediate arrest. There were 5 theft cases, 3 criminal mischiefs, 5 warrant arrests, 4 operating while intoxicated, 1 fraud, 2 intimidation, 2 batteries, 1 death investigation, 1 runaway, and 2 possessions of marijuana. We still are investigating previous cases from previous months. Traffic enforcement, we investigated 13 vehicle crashes, 1 of which was leaving the scene. We issued 67 traffic citations, addressing speed, signal, and sign violations. 13 of those citations were driving while suspended or never receiving a license, and there were 26 written warning tickets and 6 impounded vehicles. On the ordinance side, Randy did 6 grass enforcement, 15 parking enforcement, 4 nuisance issues, 5 sign violations, 1 tree or bush violations, and 3 other, which would total 35 violations he dealt with. 6 came in from, excuse me, citizen complaints, and 29 of those were initiated by Randy. Those are our statistics for the month. Just one other issue I want to bring up about, as you notice, that we're missing some vehicles in the back. We're starting to get kind of thin with cars. Their officers are able to driven. One of them was involved in a car deer accident on Sunday morning. Found out there's about $11,000 worth of damage. So that's in the process of getting approved to be repaired. So we're down 1 detective car. Our 3 new ones, the 1 this year and 2 next year, I'm not sure when we're getting those, and I was hoping to be here sooner than what they're getting. So some of the ones, the used older Explorers, the black ones that were in the back parking lot, they were getting repaired. There was, I won't say significant, but there were quite a few things that needed to be done to them to make them roadworthy. Also resurrecting some of the Tahoes. I know I kind of talked poorly about those cars because I'd like to get rid of them, but we're going to need a couple of those temporarily until the new cars come in. So we're getting those repaired too. One thing I would like to explore, the silver Impala that you've seen in the parking lot used to be one of the, I won't say detective, but one of the administrative cars. It's got lights and sirens. It's a police vehicle. Randy's been using that for code enforcement. Really not necessary to have well, it's an unmarked, but a police car. What I'd really like to see is us look at getting him a different vehicle that's strictly code enforcement that does not look like a police car. I know when I worked for 6 months in Goshen as an ordinance officer, they had purchased several of the used Chevy Colorado pickup trucks or mid-sized truck. They're 4-cylinders. They're very efficient on fuel. There's a dealer over in Elkhart that apparently purchased used ones from like utility companies with 50,000 miles on whatever, but they're set up for, they have the strobe lights on there and the backup beep for everything. They're ideal for what Randy be doing. He doesn't drive outside the city with it. And so I kind of like look at maybe the foreign purchasing that and then us getting back the silver police car. So I don't know how you guys want to move forward with that. If you want me to get you some prices, and then you guys can decide how we want to do that. I was doing just quickly looking on Auto Trader with that dealer over in Elkhart. They're a decent one for like a 2022 Chevy Colorado with about 50,000 miles, 17,000. So that should last a very long time. But he can throw the signs that he's taking out of along 120 in the back instead of throwing in the back seat. And we could use it for picking up bicycles and things like that too. So
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Would you be able to get quotes for, I don't know if there's any law enforcement through Ford, but I mean, a newer vehicle rather than something that's low mileage, but high, like working hours? I figure like if it's a utility company, it's been stop and go idling hours, so
Yeah.
it could have the equivalent of 300,000 miles on the engine. What would the price be on like a stripped down base F-150? I mean, I think those start right around 30 maybe, that's something that would last for 15 years.
I'll explore, I'll give you several options that way you guys can make an informed decision, but I just know that like driving through the alleys and stuff in Goshen with it, it's a little bit, it's not a small pickup truck, but a medium size. I fit in the fine and there's plenty of room in the, excuse me, the bed. So, but I'll research and get back with you guys and get you some numbers.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
never, I
cool.
never thought about the idling issues.
But most of the new vehicles, like the trucks, they'll show the mileage, and then you scroll through and find out what the idle
Hours.
An hour.
Yeah, you got,
have those on the police cars, so.
yeah, you got engine hours and idle hours. Yeah.
And that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Steve?
Just sounds like a good idea.
Well, thank you for last weekend, getting all those signs out. I don't know if anybody saw it.
Solar did that.
Yeah, I just,
That boy was on it.
Yeah,
What signs?
oh, there were probably 30 signs throughout town from Lazy Boy.
Yeah.
They were doing a store renovation. And I pulled 8 signs out of Memorial Park and 8 signs from across, in front of the, Phillips 66 station myself. There
There's
were,
4 of 'em on my corner.
there were 4 on your corner, there were 4 in front of Bay Ridge that somebody had pulled out and laid down, so somebody in Bay Ridge took care of those. There were another 4 or 8 in front of Shore Manor. Then there were another 4 down further west,
By Stonemont, there was some.
yeah, by Stonemont, and then some over across the street from Longboat Point, so.
I gotta get out more. I never saw them.
Oh, yeah, they were
I
everywhere.
know when Chandler opened the back of that Explorer.
What's that?
What the Lazy Boy store, because they're still sitting in their garage. I would assume they want them back, but,
So when I called the Lazy Boy store on Saturday,
okay.
and I talked to the manager, Monica, and I told her what was going on, and told her she needed to come get them, and said by the end of the day tomorrow, which was Sunday, they had a third-party advertising company do it. And I said, well, I'll tell you what, I said, I'll just have our PD pull them out, and they'll be at the PD, and you can come pick them up there.
Okay, I'll give them a week or so and do. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Chandler was stacking them in there the best he
Storage
could.
facility. You know, what's interesting is typically with my experience with that is the third party that they hire to do those, they hire like college kids or. And they usually instead of spreading them out, they find one location, just dump, like, put them all in one place, so you don't have.
Yeah, they were,
It happens frequently.
they had 4 signs within a 6-foot stretch. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. So,
Okay.
All
Well,
right.
thank you for bringing that to our attention.
yeah, no problem. All right. Well, if nothing else, thank you for what you do for us and pray that you guys stay safe out there.
Steve, can I have your autograph on that? Thank you.
All right. Nick, what do you have for us tonight?
Oh, we had 89 Mercy Falls in October. Responses. Tower truck is currently back. It's waiting on, it's functional. For now. We're just waiting on for some parts. We were able to get things fixed, so we get all ladders tested and the ladder itself tested, which passed. I gave Kathy the certification this evening. So we're happy about that, but it does have to go back. We're currently in the tune of $11,000 for the parts right now. I look to probably double, if not triple that by the time we're done. Just, yeah, it's what it is, right? Hope to have that done and back by January 1. It being pump tested the 3rd of December. So we'll see if it passes back. Not sure that it's gonna, but we'll find out. If it doesn't, then it'll just be added to the bill at the end of the day. On a good note, though, we're looking forward to Christmas tree lighting. We did get enough money for all the lights. Matter of fact, we've got 1,500 feet of those lights on the tree currently. We're not quite sure how we're gonna get the other 500 lights on 500 feet on there. But we're gonna do a test run and see what it looks like and have to move some things around, I'm sure. But we do want to appreciate the town allowing us to have Wendell and Eric come and help us. It made that go a lot faster with people on both sides. We just appreciate that. We're still collecting new and unwrapped toys for monetary donations for the Toys for Tots. We'll deliver those on December 7th to Grand Design and Panel 17. Our picture fundraiser is winding down. We did have a bit of a hiccup. We realized at the community leaders meeting that post office box folks here in town did receive a letter. So that is getting changed this week. So we should be receiving a letter in the next week or so with a different picture date. So picture date, if you have had a letter and donated, is this Saturday. So we're looking forward to seeing folks come in, get their mug shots. Other than that, appreciate all the time and efforts that everybody's put in. And thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Chief. Anybody have questions for Nick? And if not, thank you for what you and your team do for us to keep us safe, and pray that you guys stay safe as well. All right, next we have Park Board. Miss Linda, what do you have for us?
this year, and to say a good thank you to all the people that worked together to provide this alternative to trick or treating, safely, bring your kids to. There were a lot of kids there. I think we gave out a lot of candy. I think we just probably had just enough, maybe.
We did not have enough.
We did not have enough. But I knew there were a few cars that checked up and left from the library early, but they didn't have enough. There were lots of people there. So it was a good event. Still in Condon Park, the kayak launch that we have there presently will be regraded to a gentle slope, making it much more user friendly for the next year. We would like to have the old posts that are around in the parking lot removed.
Are they not removed yet?
They're gone.
I thought they
Are
were
they
gone.
gone?
Yeah, I saw Wendell and
John,
John. They were out there on
This is that.
Monday, I think.
So that's good, that's done. Eric is looking into mats to replace, all the fall area mulch. Because we can't find any mulch that doesn't have, I believe it's metal,
Steel, yeah.
little
Steel.
steel things in it.
You know, cause that's ground
And
tires.
So, mats will be expensive, but, we're trying to see what we can do. We feel like there are a lot of places now that have that rather than the mulch, so, like Eric is looking into getting quotes for us. We'll take a good look at that when we get the quotes. Cummins Park, the pickleball nets are down now, but if you have your own pickleball net, you can still play. If you want to. The park board would like to see the area west of the pickleball courts made into some more parking. And Mike Yoder will look into the possibility of that happening. The lights in Commons Park will be replaced if they haven't already by LED lights for this year. There's been some interest in making a holiday walking trail around Commons Park in that little trail there. And don't know who might be interested in helping on that kind of a committee, but it's an interesting thought. There's a lot of trees down there where there can be a lot of nice looking things put up in the trees and just a walk, no driving. You'll just walk around the path back down to the river and who knows? We can get somebody together and that'll be good. Permits Park, Mike Rock is working on plans for the planting of the native and wetland land plants. They will be planted in the old playground area and the surrounding areas, so the guys won't have to do any more mowing down there. And then we're going to surround that all with a walking path. And there might be some that will go through particular plantings, but that will be later developed. We had more discussion on our 5-year plan, and it's almost completed. Thank you, Mike Yoder. The community garden is now closed. It was a successful gardening, producing a little over 1,000 pounds of vegetables for the food pantry and for the general area residents. There were over 200 volunteer hours and at least $1,000 donated by garden supporters. Any questions?
What did you use the $1,000 for?
Soil amendments,
The donation. for $1,000.
irrigation.
Oh, there you
Like
go.
sprinklers, probably, like not the actual water, but probably sprinklers.
Not the actual water, but the sprinklers.
Piping and stuff, yeah.
They have drip irrigation. Except for the gourds. That was the spring.
Out of the 1,000 pounds, how much actually went to the food pantry?
700.
Okay.
No more questions for Linda? Okay, thank you, Linda. All right, George, doesn't look like you have anything on the list.
No, I got something for you. I'm sorry
Okay.
it's not on the agenda.
Okay.
It is a bit of a work session, but I'll pass it down. It is a couple of options, want some direction from you folks, if anybody would like to go for a potential amendment to the noise ordinance. This came up after, privilege of the floor at the last meeting, if you recall.
Oh, yes.
The residential structure being built, in town, where maybe they're not being flexible or respectful of their neighbors. We drafted two quick potential amendments to that section of the noise ordinance related to residential construction in a residential zone. The top one is a decibel-based restriction with the hours of 8 p.m. to 8 a.m., a 30 decibel restriction, except for emergency work situations, meaning, you lost power, you lost plumbing, you've got a leak, you've got something major and you need to do construction at night.
Yeah.
The second one is a reasonable person standard, so it's got a little bit more detail in it of what you would be doing, right? So you would be unlawful to do these things in a manner that a reasonable person of normal sensitiveness residing in the area could be caused discomfort or annoyance. Reasonable person standard is an interesting, it's a pretty solidified legal standard that we can rely on. It's pretty defined. Courts apply reasonable standards every day. But it does give some flexibility to Steve on enforcement, right? I mean, let's say they're just up to 30 decibels, but they're playing games with it and no, we're just on the air compressor. If you measure it right now, it's 30 decibels. But when police leave, they're louder or they're not. I mean, I think the reasonable person standard is the way you wanted to go, but it came up last meeting. I would have brought it up in the work session, but I couldn't be here that night, so I thought tonight would be appropriate to get some direction.
So on the second one here, you don't mention decibels.
Do not, it's the reasonable standard, so that's
It's the
just what I
reasonable
was saying.
standard.
So in other words,
Okay,
we would basically, they could be cited if it's not reasonable that you are doing what you're doing at 10 o'clock at night in the residential neighborhood. Right? We are
Yeah.
running a pneumatic air gun and most of the time it's under 30 decibels, but every once in a while it's and it maybe exceeds it, maybe it doesn't. It stops the gamemanship. It just basically lets the officer responding say, look, this is not reasonable.
so you're
Right.
talking,
Shut it down.
yeah, you've got several things in here, so the 30 decibels could be a combination of one or more.
You guys could put this together any
Yeah.
way you wanted to.
It'd be more,
Yeah.
one or more
Yeah.
operating at the same time would be they may create 30 decibels apiece, but that's 90 decibels.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. And that was one of the reasons why we just incorporated that reasonable standard. But again, I'm not opposed to you guys cutting it up and doing what you want to do with it and what you think is reasonable and fair. I just got the sense that after his public comments that you were interested in doing something.
Steve,
Yeah.
did you
So
get?
if I'm reading this right, they couldn't do anything before 8 a.m., right?
Well, yeah,
That would be the
On both
restriction,
things.
the time, and you could change that.
Well, so what about your road construction and stuff like that?
well, I think our noise ordinance before was always 8 AM to 8 AM, wasn't it? Or
Well,
was
this
it
is-
8 to
This is
10.
targeting residential.
This is residential.
Yeah, but I mean,
Well, mine's
our general, wasn't it?
State highway, Reason Raleigh doing the state highway in front of my house, that's residential.
We did have concerns with that. We had concerns with heat of summer, road crews, other construction crews starting at 6 a.m. to avoid heat.
That's why I'm asking, because
And that can
didn't
be a
happen.
thing. So,
So-
again, this is all placeholder stuff. It's the reason I wanted to discuss it with you because there's a lot of flexibility in what we can and can't do.
So if we go with option B, if you will, it's more discretionary.
That's really that's the difference between option B. It defines some of the activities, which I don't know that I'm a fan of. I almost think that it's just any activity, any
Yeah.
construction type activity in
Yeah.
a residential zone that a reasonable person would take offense to.
Yeah, sure, eliminate, well, I was going to modernize it, remove steam shovel.
I asked Scott drafted 2, I drafted 1. I said, Scott, take a look at 1 and see what you think of, you can come up with something. He came up with 2 and I asked him, what is a pile driver and when was the last time it was used?
Or a steam hoist. I mean, this is kind of outdated stuff.
All right.
Steam shovel, steam or electric hoist.
Think
Yeah.
about the street department starts at 7 o'clock, so they got the leaf machine out. They can't start using the leaf machine till 8 o'clock.
No, we always had 8 o'clock anyway.
You
Before,
know, and here's,
Yeah, I've been
we've got,
sucking leaves at
we've
7 o'clock
got
in the morning.
one instance with one contractor
Right.
behaving.
Right.
In that same subdivision, 2, 3 houses down, there's another new house being built. I haven't heard any complaints.
No, they've been great.
So how do you?
Just the Taj Mahal.
Yeah. So how do you craft something that allows Steve to go out there and say, hey, I've got. Steve or Randy can go out and say. Stop.
I'm just asking, because I know there's construction companies that start 6 o'clock in the morning during the summers.
Well, I mean, is there any way to set time to be daylight? Because I mean, roofing crews, like they want to be there as soon as day's up because it's gonna be hot on the roof. Concerned with 8 o'clock, I mean, that's an hour and a half of daylight that they've already lost in the morning.
We call it sunrise and sunset.
You could do sunrise and you don't have to do sunset, right? I mean, I think that 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, even in the middle of summer, 7 o'clock construction's rare. I mean, it's usually,
Yeah.
those crews usually quit by 3, 4, 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
So we could incorporate a sunrise provision. So instead of a time, just go with sunrise on that particular day.
Yeah.
But there will be times of the year where sunrise isn't until 8:45.
Right.
unless until they repeal the sunrise, our fallback and the spring forward. And just have one time.
Because this is the only clue we ever had about residential construction, is just this one.
As far as I know.
That was it.
I'm wondering, have we done any research like in maybe an ordinance that would be in, say, Napanee or anything like that?
We looked at, this one came from Fishers. So Fishers has something similar
Fisher's,
to number one. I don't know where Scott looked, but I looked at Fishers.
okay. Yeah, I'd like to look into this a little further.
Okay, and we can do that. Why don't we come back at you with some additional language?
Great.
Seems like the reasonable person standard though is what you would lean towards if you wanted to.
I
do
would.
something. I will also tell you that I'm not sure that we can't find some justification for some enforcement, even without an amendment.
Yeah.
Where they could just call and somebody could go out there and go, look, cut it out or I'm gonna shut you down.
There you go, Steve.
I'm not even sure that the building official would have that authority.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
county, understand, but
I think that's, good idea.
Okay.
I mean, if that's a possibility, I think that's probably the route, because if we're trying to get residential expansion and subdivisions,
We're gonna have to deal with
the
it.
more restrictive we get, the
Or
harder
shoot
problems will be
yourself in
for
the foot.
residential
absolutely.
to be built.
All right. Anything else, George?
That's it.
Okay. Anybody have anything for George? If not, thank you, George. Next item would be privilege of the floor. Anybody in the room like to stand up and make comment this evening? Please.
Maxine always wants to make.
Yeah, I haven't been to some meetings for a while, so I was just kind of wondering what the progress is on the corner down here where the houses were burned down.
Mhm.
We had several suggestions, I think, were submitted to the town board on ideas of what could happen there. Mike, you had said something about you had some people interested in restaurants, possibly. So has anything materialized there or?
Yeah, so we actually talked about that Tuesday at our work session, Maxine.
Okay.
So we're in the process of determining how we want to approach what happens on those lots. So there's a couple options. One, we could sell the property. A developer could come in and build a building. Could be retail, it could be offices, it could be a restaurant. Could be a bakery, it could be a coffee shop, it could be any one of those things. With some caveats to the town saying what we would like to see there.
Right.
Second would be, the town retains the property and we lease the property. So that would give us more control over what happens on the property. And another option would be, a third option would be is that the town builds a building and we build it with a specific idea in mind, whether it's a restaurant. More than likely, it will be a restaurant, is what we're looking at. Maybe some retail shops. And then the town retains ownership of the property and the building, and we enter into a long-term lease with a tenant for a restaurant or an ice cream shop or a bakery or a coffee shop. Yeah, yeah. And ideally, what we want to do is identify who that might be before we start the building. That way, if it's a restaurant, they could give input on what they would like to see as far as amenities within the building and maybe some layout for it. So that's one thing we're
So
looking
that's
at.
just kind of in limbo right now?
No.
What you're doing, I mean,
No, we are, I think Scott has, from George's office, Scott has some actions to come back to us with a little bit more definition on, what our options are. And then once we know that for sure, hopefully we can nail something down in our December meetings.
You asked for me to do some.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
That
Baker, yeah, thank you.
Pros and cons.
Yeah, Baker Tilly, our financial advisor, to talk about what are the pros and cons of selling it versus leasing it. So,
because at one time, some suggestions were made to use that just as a green space for the town. Is that kind of by the wayside? Is that something that's not being considered anymore? I'm just asking.
yeah, so it probably won't be a green space or a park type area. It's simply because we already have, how many parks, Linda? 4 or 5?
Right,
4 parks in town.
okay. Is a walk bridge still in the works possibly?
Yeah, so that was, I was gonna bring that up as well.
Okay.
So Mike has been talking with the county. And the county is now looking at future expansion of the bridge. Because right now, the traffic headed southbound across the bridge is very congested. And the county is looking at adding a lane to the bridge, so it would be 3 lanes as opposed to 2. And then in lieu of doing an independent pedestrian bridge,
Yeah,
it would be incorporated into the design of the new bridge. And there would be a barrier between the roadway and the pedestrian walkway.
nice.
So, because right now there's not, it's just, it's a limited sidewalk and, when you're during homecoming or the Corn Dog Festival, when people are passing, you have people going north and south, it's kind of hard to,
Exactly.
and if somebody's got a stroller or a pet or something, or somebody's on a bike,
That is.
yeah. So it would have a fully encapsulated walk path.
That would be great.
That would be barriered off from the road.
And it's gonna take up, in order for that bridge to line up directly with 15 South, it will take
Part of that property.
part of the property.
Part of that property.
Right. It
So,
would be nice if it lined up with 15.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that would be the goal. Yeah, so that's kind of where we are with it.
My husband messed up 2 of his wheels on his nice car on that. But they put him on the corner, it's actually going straight.
and that was a car. That wasn't some of the trucks that I've seen.
Yeah, no.
Boom, boom,
it was
you know,
a corner.
over the-
You don't
Yes.
understand.
Yeah.
The other question I have is just curiosity. What's going on down on County Road 10? I was down there the other day.
Oh,
I don't know, they're like taking a lot of things down and trees and what's going on down there, do you know? Or that,
I don't know, but I've
I think
heard
it's NIPSCO, I'm not
Yeah, I
sure.
think it is.
it's, I
Yeah.
know there's a corporation that owns all that property, all the
Okay,
way down to 15.
all the way to 50.
Yeah, I think it's,
It's Abby's on this north side and Mrs. Wally owns the north side.
well, if you look at the thing for Elkhart County, it's like,
Yeah, it's
it's W3,
AWT.
AWT, okay, that's okay, it's all
Abby
out.
Wayne
North
Finley.
side.
And I've
Yeah,
had
we
several
don't-
people ask me too, what are those flat areas that they've put in there that looks like,
Just flip.
Yeah,
50-foot square of
Right.
plywood
right,
on the ground?
yeah,
I have not a clue,
okay.
and they don't, and they live right there.
Yes, you guys do know. That's.
We talked about that Tuesday. That's a new transmission line.
Well, that's the transmission line, but I mean, a 50-foot square?
That's what they're using. That's what they're using to put the poles
Oh,
in.
okay. That's
They
what they're
can't-
using to put
yeah.
poles in.
Yeah, they can't drive the heavy equipment over
I
farm
know,
ground.
and they do that all too.
Yeah, so that's,
Okay.
that's what those are.
Now I can tell the neighbors that call me and find.
Yeah.
Tell them what's going
That's
on.
what NIPSCO do.
Yeah, that's NIPSCO, yeah, putting in transmission lines from the new substation to the other substation up by Stone Mountain Court.
Great.
Yeah.
And just for the record, that project has nothing to do with a possible date.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll make sure people know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the major rumor.
Yeah.
And that project started, what, 4 years?
4 years ago. Yeah.
So no connection.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, see you in a couple weeks.
And if you were here, if you would have been here Tuesday, you'd have heard good news
What's the good news?
that they're completely redoing your roadways next year. Twin Rivers. Oh, you're not in Twin River?
No, she's in the Twin Rivers.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's Cindy. I'm being Cindy, sorry.
You're thinking about Cindy.
Okay.
Covered.
Fringes of Bristol.
Okay.
We should have to live on the right side of the road that we're.
Okay.
It's okay.
Thank you, Maxine. Appreciate that.
So you're a distant relative.
Okay.
That's all right.
Anybody else? Okay. Yeah.
Maxine's got a really good point. I know the council wanted to get input of residents, like what we want to do with that tree. Wouldn't it be nice to share what the results were? I mean, just to communicate with the residents, we heard them. The majority would like to see this. I mean, just better
Yeah.
communication.
Yeah.
I thought you guys were gonna publish that in a newsletter.
We can.
I don't
Yeah,
know why
let's-
we
I
shouldn't.
just thought
I
maybe
mean,
by then we'll have
I
more
would think it'd be-
information.
Yeah.
It would just be-
we should have a culmination to the question.
Yeah, why don't we, yeah, let's do that. Let's publish it.
Looking and seeing, maybe I'll. see
Yeah.
something, But I haven't seen anything.
I thought we would have.
A lot of people are asking.
Let's do this. Let's put something on the Facebook page and also in the newsletter.
But you can leave that one out.
Are we talking about the quarter,
Yeah.
The results.
the results of the?
The public-
Survey.
Just, yeah, just
Just the
publish the
survey, what they
results
wanna
of what
see.
people said.
We'll create a summary, some of the responses we probably don't.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
Yeah,
Uh,
three.
The top three.
the
Yeah.
SC, yes.
Yeah.
We'll come up with a, we'll come up with something.
Okay.
Get that out.
Yeah, those are done. Okay. Town council discussion. Doug, anything? Dean? Kathy?
No, other than the street light I asked Mike about.
I've already assigned it to the street department.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Greg?
Nothing.
The only thing I've got is thank you for the snow fence removal.
Yes.
That looks much better. First thing Wednesday morning, they did a good job. Looks much, much better.
And there's,
Out the
we did. find
cleared
some money.
property.
There will be some sort of Christmas decorations in that area that Eric and Joe are talking, putting together.
First
bringing
week
up.
of December, yeah.
Okay,
So we'll see how that works. That should be nice, should be.
okay.
Well, I'm expecting anything nice.
Good.
Eric is quite the Christmas guy.
I could just hear a window complaining.
We already heard about the grants. We already heard about the grants.
All right, next meeting, December 5th at 7 PM. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion adjourned.
Motion by
Second.
Greg, second by Kathy, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.